arranged by Yonatan himself.
והיא שעומדו לבסינו ולנו שלא אחד בלבוד ומד עלינו לכאן ניסינו ומד עלינו לכאן ניסינו
והיא שעמדה לאבותינו והיא שעמדה לאבותינו ולנו שלא אחד בלבד עמד עלינו לכלותנו עמד עלינו לכלותנו
הקדוש ברוך הוא מצילנו ימצילנו ימיודו
The 4 cups. There's a mitzvah there of to drink 4 cups of wine the first 2 nights of Pesach. There are 4 cups referring to 4 stages that Hashem will save us. One is Yotzeti Etchem, the second one is Veitzarti Etchem, the third one is Vegalti Etchem, and the fourth one is Velakachti Etchem. Each of these Lashonos refers to the stage of the Geula. For each individual stage, we are required to thank and praise Hashem. If I will take you out from under the hard work of Mitzrayim, even if we would have remained Mitzrayim in Avadim in Mitzrayim, since we would have been free from the hard labor, we would have praised Hashem from this Geula alone. However, Hashem also said, "V'tzalti etchem ve'avotatam." I will save you completely from being avadim, and you will no longer have to work for them at all. But not only did Hashem promise us this, He also said, "V'galti etchem b'zroa netuya u'v'shpatim gedolim." I will redeem you with an outstretched arm, with great punishments to Mitzrayim. Not only did Hashem say He will ease our labor, abolish it completely, take us out of Mitzrayim, and punish those who oppressed us, Hashem said He was going to give us the greatest Geula imaginable. Velakachti etchem le'am v'hayiti lachem le'elohim. I will take you from the nation, and I will be your God. Not only did Hashem redeem our bodies, He also redeemed our souls by giving us the Torah and making us the nation of Hashem.
The Hagadah is placed before the Baal Bayis, the leader of the household. Some have the minhag custom to bring the Hagadah to the table before Kiddush, while others bring it after Kiddush. On the Hagadah, there are 3 matzos which correspond to the Levi, Kohen, and Yisrael. Every Shabbos and Yom Tov, only 2 chalos and matzos are needed for Lechem Mishnah. So why are 3 matzos needed for the Seder? 2 whole matzos are for the Lechem Mishnah, like every Yom Tov. Since matzah is called Lechem Oni, poor man's bread, and an ani being afraid he later might not have what to eat, breaks and saves part of his part of his matzah for a later time. We also have a perusa, a broken piece. A tal matzah is a smaller piece of the middle matzah, are eaten by motzi matzah. The larger piece of the ten matzah is hidden at yachatz and eaten for the afikomen. The bottom matzah is eaten at koreh.
Okay, excellent job, Simcha.
Okay, Manashtana. We see that many things are done during the Seder, specifically for the children. The children ask the Manashtana, and we do things to keep them awake so that they should ask questions. The reason for this is because that the children were singled out in the Mitzrayim for persecution. Number one, Paro ordered the Mialodos Harivos to kill the male babies. And number two, all the baby boys were thrown into the river. And number three, when Paro became Mitzorah, a leaper, he slaughtered the Jewish babies in order to bathe in their blood. Number four, if the Jews didn't have enough bricks, the children were cemented into the walls in place of bricks. Number five, Paro tried to prevent the Jews from having children. Number six, even when Paro agreed to send out the Jews, he still refused to allow the children to leave. We find that much of the Seder revolves around number four. There are 4 questions, 4 kosos, and 4 the Vilna Gaon explains that this is hinting to the 4 general categories of people who are required to bring the Korban Torah. A sick person who became well, Holachi, Medapuria, people who were traveling through deserts, Yordei Hayam, people who traveled overseas, Hosei, Mebes Hasurim, people who were released from prison. All these people were in situations of danger, but were saved throughout the compassion of Hashem. Bnei Yisrael who left Mitzrayim fell into these 4 categories. They all crossed the Yam Suf, they all traveled through the desert, they all went out of prison. They became sick as a result of persecution of Mitzrayim until Hashem healed them at the Har Sinai to express the Hagadah. For all these things, we stress the number 4 throughout the Seder.
Excellent, Josh. We're going to hold it there.
So, the Hagadah says, Maaseh Rabbi Eliezer, Rabbi Yoshua, Rabbi Elazar, Zariah, Rabbi Akiva, Rabbi Tarfon, they tell a story about the 5 rabbis who were making the Seder in Bnei Brak. So why did the Hagadah only mention these 5 particular Tanaim? Surely all the other Tanaim also did the same, didn't they? So each of these Talmidei Chachamim could excuse himself from participating in the Seder of Yetzias Mitzrayim, since each of them were not involved in the Nisim of Mitzrayim. Rabbi Akiva was the descendant of a Ger. His forefather was Jewish. Rabbi Elazar, Rabbi Eliezer, and Rabbi Tarfon were Kohanim, and Rabbi Yoshua was a Levi, and the Shevet of Levi would have worked. So all of them were from Shevet Levi who were not enslaved in Mitzrayim, and they might have felt that they weren't required to be Mesapah like everybody else. So therefore, we are told that even they were chayev in this mitzvah of Sikor Yetziat Mitzrayim of Simchat Torah.
Okay, thank you.
חכם הוא אומר, מה העדות והחוקים והמשפטים אשר ציווה השם אלוקינו איתכם? We see from the detailed question of the Chacham, his Chachma and his interest in what is taking place. He differentiates between the various types of mitzvahs. These are 3 types of mitzvahs which are Eidos. These are mitzvahs that testify to what happened to the Jews, such as Matzah, which is a reminder of the swiftness of the cooking. These are the mitzvahs whose reasons are understood, such as Halacha, against breaking the bones of Korban Pesach. These are mitzvahs about how we are to act, such as not allowing an Arya to eat the Korban Pesach.
Thank you, Yaakov.
So why is that good to use Lashon Nekeva? Why did I use Lashon Zevah? Ad. So some explain since the students know how to act, you must teach it from Aleph to Tav, that's why it's Ad and not Tav. The others say the Lashon came as a sign of weakness, and a person who has a son who is a Shayol Del Lishol shows his lack of strength in the way that he brought him up.
And this is what is said to us by our fathers and us. What is the word Behi referring to? The simple meaning is that it is referring to the bris which Hashem made of Abraham, has always stood by us, not only in Mitzrayim, but in all generations. Even though the enemies have always risen against us, we can rely on Hashem to stand by our side. The word Behi stands for Vav, Shisha Sedrei Mishnah, Hey, Chamisha Chumshei Torah, Yod Aseret Debros, and Aleph Hashem Echad. These are the ingredients which assure the survival of Bnei Israel. Another explanation is that persecution of the Jews by the non-Jews guarantee our survival. When the non-Jews are friendly to us, it causes us to assimilate and act like them and stop doing mitzvahs. When the non-Jews show hatred towards us, it reminds us that we are different and unique. This helps us survive and remain Jews.
Varav kema shenamar revava ketsamach hasada. I made you numerous like the plants on the field. Bnei Israel in Mitzrayim were compared to grass, just as grass grows without any effort on our part, and the more it is cut down, the more it grows. So too, the more Mitzrayim impressed the Jews, the more numerous they became. The Leviim, however, who were exempt from the Hagadah, were the least numerous of all the Shvatim. The Gemara in Sota says, when a woman went out to draw water, Hashem caused them to find little fish in them. They went out to the fields and refreshed their husbands with jars of hot water and cooked fish. When the women gave birth in the fields and were forced to abandon their babies, Hashem would send the malach to feed and clean the babies. Whenever Mitzrayim arrived in the fields searching for the babies, Hashem would cause the earth to open up and swallow the babies. When they were determined to kill the babies, and they plowed the fields, but they never found a single child. As soon as the Mitzrayim left, they sprouted forth from the ground like grass on the field. When they grew up, they swarmed back into the flocks and into their parents' house. The Mitzrayim were mystified. How could it be that the Jews continued to grow and flourish?
Our burden refers to our children. The biggest burden upon a person is to work in vain without accomplishment. The Jews gave birth to their sons in vain, and since the Mitzrayim threw them into the river.
Ani v'lo malach. If Hashem himself was the one who came to Mitzrayim for Makas Bechoros, why does the Torah say that Bnei Yisrael had to put blood on their doorposts so the Malach HaMaves should not enter their homes? If Hashem was doing the killing, what was the Malach HaMaves doing there? The Ra answers that Makas Bechoros was definitely carried out by Hashem. However, that night, just like any other time, there were Jews who were supposed to die of natural causes simply because their time of death had arrived. Malach HaMaves could reasonably be expected at these homes. The pasuk of Lo Yitin HaMashlis Lavo tells us that Hashem would not permit the Malach HaMaves to even enter these homes, so the Mitzrayim should have said, look, even the Jews died tonight from Makas Bechoros, not only us. Why did Hashem himself kill the Bechoros of Mitzrayim and not send the Malach? The Or HaVayim explains that by doing it himself, Hashem showed his love to Bnei Israel. The redemption from Mitzrayim will come directly from Hashem and not from the Shaliach. Ani v'lo malach, ani v'lo shaliach.
Since Hashem himself carried out Makas Bechoros in blood, the Jews had to put on their doors posts. Was not needed to identify that they were Jews. Rather, it was a test of their emunah in Hashem. Were they going to trust Hashem and listen to what they were told? They were therefore commanded to put the blood on the inside of their doorposts, not on the outside. It was to be lachem le'os v'lo le'achirim le'os, a sign for the Jews, not for others.
Why was it necessary for Hashem to rush them out of Mitzrayim, causing them not to have enough time to lift their door eyes? concerned that the Jews were at the 49th level of Judah. If they would have remained even 1 second longer, they would have dropped to the 50th level of Judah and would not have been able to be saved. This can be compared to a person simply eating quicksand. As long as his body is not completely covered with quicksand, he can be pulled down and saved. However, once he is completely sunk, it is not possible to pull him out and rescue him.
After becoming Muslim, we fill the post to show Eliyahu and say Shabbat HaMashma. We open the door to show that tonight is Leil Shemurim, Hashem is watching over us. Because of this, we only say one parsha of Kriyat Shema, and not all three before going to sleep. Unless you daven Arabic, before Tzedakah Kohabim, some pour the fourth coast before kosher Eliyahu, and some pour it afterwards, right before Hallel.
Nirtza. The goal of a Jew is to be able to be an Oved Hashem and do his mitzvahs. By the time the Seder is over, we have worked very hard cleaning our home of chametz, preparing for Pesach, and being mekayim all the mitzvahs of the Seder. What reward do we ask of Hashem? Kasher zachinu the Seder also kain nizke la soso. We ask Hashem, just like we had the zechus of making the Seder, so too we should have the zechus that Mashiach will come and we will be able to bring the Korban Pesach in Yerushalayim. All we want is the opportunity to be able to be Mekayim more mitzvahs. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim. Twice a year we say L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim. On Motzei Yom Kippur after Ne'ilah and the night of Pesach after the Seder. There is a machlekes Tanaim whether the future redemption will occur. Rabbi Yeshua holds Asidin lehigal b'Nisan, and Rabbi Eliezer holds B'Tishrei Yidasan lehigal. We who are anxiously waiting the Geula are Mekayim both Slitos. We say L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim both in Nisan and in Tishrei.